Okay. Good morning, everyone. Please remain standing on behalf of the trustees, faculty, staff, and students of Trinity College. I welcome you to today's exercises, marking the 191st commencement of our college. I now call upon Lisa Cassow, Director of Trinity College Hillel and Senior Associate Chaplain for Jewish Life, to deliver the invocation.
Actually, please be seated. Okay. Well, good morning again. I would like to ask you not to bow your heads. Rather, take a moment to look around you at this gathering. The students, parents, siblings, grandparents, professors, administrators, coaches, roommates, and friends. All the individuals that make up the Trinity community, sharing together in the extraordinary experience of being thankful to have reached this celebration. In this world of so much uncertainty and turmoil, let us take a few moments to offer gratitude for those fixed points on our compass, our loved ones, the friends that we have made here, and the hopes and dreams that we take into the future. As we recognize our diversity in faith traditions, beliefs, and values, let us honor and appreciate our unity today. I invite you to reflect on all that is yet to be. While expressing thanks for the gift of intellect, for goals met, for the support of family and mentors, and for a society that encourages education. Please join me in asking for blessing on the mission of Trinity College and for those in whom we offer our trust. Let us continue to learn from our diversity, filled with compassion, to honor the peaceful, nurture the fragile, empower the vulnerable, and experience wonder in both the ordinary and the extraordinary. To the graduates, go forth and do good work in the world. Seek the common good. Love and cherish the people and ideas you genuinely value. Live your lives and work with integrity so that what you do is what you believe. May your lives always be a blessing. Amen. Now, please rise for the national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, I promised to use my outside voice. Can I be heard? All right. Please be seated. The history of the college graduation ceremony goes back hundreds and hundreds of years to institutions including the University of Bologna, the University of Paris, and Oxford University. It was there that students first sought recognition that they had met the stated requirements and had passed their qualifying examinations. Fast forward to 2017, here on our campus in Hartford, where today we are honoring you, our graduates, for much the same achievements as they did in medieval times. The successful completion of your course of study and your admittance to the body of enlightened scholars. I now ask the representatives of the college's Board of Trustees and our former trustees to stand. These individuals are the frontline volunteers who hold Trinity College in trust so that future generations will benefit from a Trinity education. They give generously of their time, effort, funds, and most importantly, they give generously of themselves. I ask you to join me in thanking them for their tireless service to our college. You may be seated. I now call upon the Chair of the Board of Trustees, Cornelia P. Thornburg, Trinity Class of 1980, who will bring greetings from the board upon this occasion and announce the trustee awards for faculty, student, and staff excellence.
Thank you, Joanne. So, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Trinity College, it is my privilege to extend congratulations to the class of 2017 and to wish you all the best in your future endeavors. As those of us who are Trinity alumni can attest, the college provides a liberal arts foundation that is an extraordinary starting point for the work you will do in life. As you leave here today, you can be confident that you have received an education that will serve you as well decades from now as it has and will in the immediate future. Your liberal arts education is not simply training for a job. It is a flexible, infinitely renewable resource that will enable you to engage successfully with our changeable world over the entire course of your lifetime. So as you head out today to begin your life's work, please remember that Trinity is forever home for you, a place where the door is always open, where there is a large and welcome extended family that will welcome you back 'neath the elms again and again. On behalf of the trustees of the college, the president, and all the members of the alumni throughout the world, I wish to congratulate this class, especially for the remarkable work you have done with the senior class gift. Your participation rate of more than 90% to the Trinity College Annual Fund speaks to your dedication to this wonderful college of ours. The American poet and author Lucy Larcom, born the year after Trinity College was founded, wrote, quote, "He who plants a tree plants a hope." Similarly, your senior class gift represents a hope for Trinity College and an action toward making that hope a reality for future classes. In recognition of that hope and the extraordinary generosity of the class of 2017, we are thrilled to share that your commitment to the senior class gift has made possible the replacement of a damaged elm tree on the main quad of the Long Walk. I wish to thank especially Tri-Chairs Hannah Adams, Isabel A. Choi, and Eleanor F. Woolsey, and the entire Senior Class Gift Committee who headed this stellar effort on your class's behalf. Now, commencement is a particularly satisfying time for the Board of Trustees as we present the Trustee Awards for Faculty, Student, and Staff Excellence. The Award for Faculty Excellence may be presented annually to faculty members whose achievements in scholarship, teaching, and one or more other spheres of professional, civic, or personal endeavor exemplify Trinity's highest standards of excellence and bring distinction to the institution. The Award for Student Excellence may be presented annually to full-time seniors who have compiled an outstanding academic record and whose achievements in one or more other areas of activity, such as athletics, campus or community service, or leadership of student organizations, exemplify the highest standards of excellence to which the college expects all of its students to aspire. The Award for Staff Excellence may be presented annually to a staff member whose professional, civic, and/or personal achievements exemplify Trinity College's high standards of excellence and bring distinction to the institution. Today, we honor Professor Sarah A. Raskin. We honor Jeremy Dam. We honor Elizabeth Valenzuela. And we honor John Rose. Now I ask Professor Raskin, Jeremy, Elizabeth, and John to join me on the podium. Sarah A. Raskin, a beloved professor who has published articles and book chapters and presented conference papers and posters, written or prepared with more than 100 students. A 2002 recipient of the Dean Arthur H. Hughes Award for Achievement in Teaching. A prolific researcher who has co-edited or written 3 books and dozens of research papers. A recognized scholar who has devoted most of her career to the improvement of life for people with brain injuries and who has developed a test for prospective memory impairment and recovery that is a standard assessment tool in this field. The recipient of numerous grants as well as professional and community-based honors and awards. An activist who is president of the Board of Directors of the Brain Injury Alliance of Connecticut and a member of the Board of Directors of Connecticut Against Gun Violence. An admired director of the neuroscience program for many years and coordinator of last year's celebration of 25 years of the neuroscience program at Trinity. Sarah, you are widely respected for your campus and community involvement, devotion to teaching, and accomplishments as a researcher. You have engaged students for nearly 25 years, helping them reach and extend their potential. For your remarkable record at Trinity College and beyond, the trustees recognize you with this award for faculty excellence. Congratulations. Congratulations, Professor Raskin. Jeremy Dan. Jeremy, you have been a quiet and steady leader inside and outside the classroom. You committed yourself to the highest standards of scholarship, choosing a double major in economics and mathematics, and dual minors in Chinese and models and data. You are a Holland Scholar and the recipient of several academic prizes in economics and mathematics. You were engaged in various research projects over several semesters and even served as a teaching assistant for your peers. Your outstanding achievement in the field of mathematics earned you election into the Phi Mu Epsilon, a national honorary mathematics society. You have led by example in the co-curricular life of the college, with service as a head resident for our residence halls, a trainer for our bystander intervention program, and a dutiful member of the Honor Council. It has been stated that you, as Vice President of the International House, are, quote, deliberately focused on creating a safe, nurturing, and welcoming environment for international students. Jeremy, in honor of your outstanding example as a scholar, a resource for your peers, and a person of honor and integrity, I am pleased to celebrate all of your accomplishments with this Trustee Award for Student Excellence. Congratulations, Jeremy. Elizabeth Valenzuela. Elizabeth, you joined Trinity as a Posse Scholar, recognized for your leadership abilities and your scholarly potential. While that scholarship was a distinct honor, we have come to realize that its criteria was an understatement for how you would engage on our campus. In nominating you for this award, one professor wrote that you are, quote, doubtlessly the most accomplished student that I have encountered in my career, end quote. Another stated, quote, I have not encountered another student with such breadth and compassion, end quote. You pursued a double major in international studies and political science, and when that wasn't enough of a challenge, you decided to add 2 minors, Hispanic studies and urban studies, to your academic portfolio. Your academic work took you to far-off places and distant shores, allowing opportunities for you to study in China, Brazil, and South Africa. In light of your academic prowess, you were selected as the President's Fellow for International Studies and elected into the Phi Beta Kappa Society. Outside the classroom, you dedicated your leadership activities to several organizations, including La Voz Latina, the Charleston Town of Interfaith Cooperation, and Praxis. Elizabeth, your intellectual curiosity, interest in new cultures, and wide contributions to the life of our college deserve our acknowledgement and gratitude For your many accomplishments, I am pleased to celebrate you with this Trustee Award for Student Excellence. Congratulations, Elizabeth. John Rose, overseer of chapel music for 40 years of major college events, including reunion, matriculation, convocation, commencement, and presidential inaugurations, memorial services, weddings, baptisms, and weekly chapel services, and the 50th and 75th anniversary celebrations of the chapel. Director of the Chapel Singers, inspiring students and fostering long-lasting relationships with alumni, with more than 60 former chapel singers traveling from across the country and abroad to perform at the 2016 Christmas Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols. Holder of an amazing performance history with 16 recordings and countless solo recitals and shows in most of the United States and on 4 continents, spreading the reputation of Trinity College globally, and with several major orchestras, including the Hartford Symphony Orchestra at the chapel and at the Bushnell. John, your contributions will have a significant impact on the life of Trinity College students and the greater Hartford community for decades to come. Congratulations. Well done, John. Our award winners. You may resume your seats. Thank you. I now call upon Tim Cresswell, Dean of the Faculty, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Professor of American Studies, to come forward to announce the Thomas Church Brownell Prize for Teaching Excellence, the Charles A. Dana Research Professorship, and the Dean Arthur H. Hughes Award for Achievement in Teaching.
One of the Dean of the Faculty's singular privileges is presenting the Thomas Church Brownell Prize for Teaching Excellence. Named for Trinity's founding president, the prize was established in 1986 through a gift from Paul H. Brigger, class of 1961, and Mrs. Brigger. It is limited to senior faculty members who have compiled a consistent record of outstanding teaching. This year's recipient is Professor Sarah Bilston of the Department of English, and I ask that she come to the platform. Sarah Bilston, a gifted teacher whose classes on Victorian literature are considered magic. A professor described by students as compassionate, thoughtful, and invested in the futures of her students. A facilitator of class discussions that are said to be so interesting that even the most reticent students contribute. An advisor who has mentored countless thesis writers and inspired students to become English majors. Sarah, you've been a devoted teacher of English at Trinity, and you have had a profound impact on your students. It is with profound admiration that I present the 2017 Thomas Church Brownell Prize for Teaching Excellence to Professor Bilston. Trinity faculty have a dual vocation as outstanding teachers and productive scholars. Engaged researchers bring an essential freshness and vitality to the classroom. Undergraduates' questions and comments stimulate faculty to undertake new lines of inquiry in their scholarship. And many students enrich their education by working side by side with faculty on joint research projects. As one of many means of supporting faculty in their professional aspirations and reinforcing Trinity's commitment to the scholarly enterprise, the college in 1984 established the Charles A. Dana Research Professorship, which is tenable for 2 years. Each Dana Research Professor receives a reduced teaching load and a special research budget. 24 faculty have held the Dana Research Professorship. At the time of their selection, all of them had compiled an exceptional scholarly record and were at a crucial juncture in a research project that the receipt of this award enabled them to accelerate. The value of the professorship to both the individuals and the institution is evident from the fact that every one of the Dana Research Professors has produced one or more significant publications while holding or shortly after holding this position. I'm pleased to announce that Kent Dunlap, Professor of Biology, has been selected as the 19th Dana Research Professor, and that Christopher Hager, Associate Professor of English, and Sarah Kipper, Associate Professor of Language and Culture Studies, have been selected as the 11th and 12th Dana Research Associate Professors. I now ask Professors Dunlap, Hager, and Kipper to come forward. I've just been told Sarah's in Paris. No doubt doing great research. Professor Dunlap's research examines how the environment influences the structure of the adult brain. With support from the NIH and Fulbright, he showed that the social environment promotes the formation of new cells in brain regions that regulate social communication in electric fish, an important model organism in behavioral neuroscience. He has published widely in this field, integrating student researchers into his work. With the Dana Research Professorship, he proposes to pivot from electric fish to a different model system, Trinidadian killifish. Professor Hager's scholarship explores American history and literature. He is the recipient of research grants and fellowships from the National Endowment for the Humanities, the American Council of Learned Societies, and the American Philosophical Society. He is the author of Word by Word, Emancipation and the Act of Writing, published by Harvard University Press in 2013, which was awarded the 2014 Frederick Douglass Book Prize and was a finalist for the 2014 Gilder Lehrman Lincoln Prize. And I Remain Yours, Common Lives in Civil War Letters, also published by Harvard University Press in 2017. The Dana Research Associate Professorship will support his plans to study literacy in the United States across 4 centuries of social, cultural, and literary history. Professor Kipper's Scholarship and Teaching Center on 20th and 21st century French and Francophone studies, with a particular focus on post-war and contemporary literature and questions of translation, multilingualism, and world literature. She is the author of Writing It Twice, Self-Translation and the Making of a World Literature in French, published by Northwestern University Press in 2015, and the co-editor of Being Contemporary, French Literature, Culture and Politics Today, published by Liverpool University Press in 2016. Her next book, Transatlantic Pacts, America and the Production of Post-War French Literary Culture, will examine Franco-American literary and cultural exchange in the second half of the 20th century. The Dean Arthur H. Hughes Award for Achievement in Teaching was established by former president and trustee of the college, G. Keith Funston, class of 1932, and is named in honor of Arthur Hughes, who in his 36-year career at Trinity served as professor of German, chairman of the Department of Modern Languages, dean of the college, dean of the faculty, and on 2 occasions, acting president. The Dean Arthur H. Hughes Award recognizes faculty members who are in the relatively early stages of their teaching careers with no more than 9 years of service to the college. This year, it's my pleasure to present the Dean Arthur H. Hughes Award for Achievement in Teaching to Catherine L. Berggren, Assistant Professor of English, and Abigail Fisher Williamson, Assistant Professor of Political Science and Public Policy and Law. I ask that they come to the platform. Kate Berggren, an enthusiastic and engaging teacher of romantic poetry and colonial and post-colonial literature, a professor who displays a contagious enthusiasm for literature, a mentor whose feedback to students pushes them to become better writers, who is highly in demand as a thesis advisor, and who is recognized for her desire to challenge students and for her unique approaches to teaching. Kate, your accomplished teaching has earned you the recognition of your students who value your mentorship and enthusiasm in the classroom and who praise your ability to engage, to guide, and to inspire. Abby Williamson, a professor of immigration and urban policy and politics, as well as racial and ethnic politics, who aims to enhance students' understanding of American public policy and political institutions. An engaging professor who cultivates critical thinking and community engagement. A social scientist who develops students' research and analytical skills and sets high standards of collegiality. Abby, your mentorship of students in the classroom, in research projects, and in internships and community learning settings exemplifies the individualized support that is at the heart of an education at a small liberal arts college. I now call upon Douglas R. Curtin to come forward to deliver remarks on behalf of the class of 2017.
Hello. I know what you're all thinking. Yes, I'm the valedictorian. No, I'm not. Hello. My friends always tell me that they can't take me anywhere without me getting caught up in a conversation. And it all starts with that simple word, hello. We're all, however many thousand of you are about to become friends today, so let's all try it together. Hello. That's a little weak. Let's try again. Hello. All right, we're gonna try again later once I move you. Every great door opens with that simple word, hello. It can open the door to a friendship. It can open the door to a job opportunity through a simple connection. It can open the door to learning something new from someone you may have never known before. I'm grateful for the hellos that I've had during my time at Trinity College. I said hello at 5:45 in the morning to a woman walking her dog as I drearily walked to swim practice. That woman turned out to be the president of the college. I said hello to the woman behind the grill who had an enduring smile on her face. That woman turned out to be Mimi. There she is in the back, all right. I love you too, Mimi. Mimi and I went from a few small interactions to me learning about her as a person, a dedicated worker, a strong mother, also while going above and beyond, becoming friends with me and so many other students. I said hello, yeah, round of applause. I said hello to a homeless man outside my internship one day. That man, Jake, ended up inspiring me to start Food Recovery Network, which led to over more than 4,000 pounds of food being donated from Mather Dining Hall. That small thing, thank you. That small thing of an unexpected friendship inspired me to do things, and it's because hello has power and it has meaning. These three people I just explained are all very different. They come from different stories, they come from different backgrounds, but I formed relationships with all three of these people based off of that simple interaction. Trinity in the liberal arts system tells us to celebrate our differences, but we cannot celebrate our differences until we understand them. Every person, no matter how similar or different his or her story may be, usually starts their story with hello. I learned about our president and her road to many successes. I learned about Mimi and her spirit devoted to all things she loves. I learned about Jake, the homeless man who lost his girlfriend in difficult circumstances and fell into hard times, but still found a way to scratch up work and smile at any person that passed him, even when they wouldn't give him a second look because of his appearance. My relationship with Jake was one of shared of two equals, of a friendship between two guys who could sit on the stoop in my front yard, joke, laugh, tell stories, and that is what I'm thankful for. So today, I urge all of us here, graduates, professors, parents, grandparents, siblings, and anybody else here, let's go back to that simple interaction, that first thing we learned as kids. Let's learn to be humans again, get off our phones, and say hello. And not just to the people that look like us or think like us or talk like us, but to the people that are different, to the people we may not have talked to in years. Our college degree may advance us in this world, but it doesn't make us too good to lose out on our most basic ways. We can begin to truly celebrate our differences once we learn something new, and that comes from that first simple interaction. So this is the challenge going forward. Say hello to someone new. Say hello to someone you haven't talked to in a while. You never know. Maybe that person will become a new good friend or the love of your life. Maybe you might never see that person again, and that's okay. That simple interaction will mean something you never would have realized have you minded your own business with your face buried in your phone. Our challenge is no simple task. Many distractions will be determined to divide us. Phones, technology, political views, and more strive to split us apart, make us struggle for that basic human connection. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and for that one dad in the back who thinks that snap face is a thing, figure it out. They're fun, they're addicting, but they separate us. It shouldn't be about followers and friends, likes and comments, and whatever that dad thinks he's doing on Snapface. But it's about those real connections. It's about what we make in our day-to-day lives. Take that liberal arts model that we celebrate here at Trinity College, apply it, and if those around us shape our lives, the more diverse perspectives and voices we hear and we learn from, the better. Take a chance. Put down your phone, put down your prejudices, and defy your predispositions of what we might assume of others because of their race, ethnicity, class, or any barriers that try to define us as human beings. We all have stories, we all have families and friends that have shaped our lives for better and for worse. Get to know the people around you. And if you're paying attention, this is where you gotta pay attention. If you're paying attention, it all starts with what word? All right, good job, A's. We can rise above the noise and the hatred. We can learn to connect again. We can learn to see each other as friends and neighbors. Because whether it's the president of the school, a cook at the dining hall, or a homeless man on the corner of Broad Street, they all became friends and teachers, listeners and storytellers. The moments the memories, and the lessons that will follow you from that most basic interaction can change your world and the world around you. Somehow we can find a way to move from simple interactions to powerful relationships that make our lives meaningful. Thank you. Thank you, Trinity College. God bless you all.
Thank you, Doug, and hello. At Trinity's first commencement in 1827, 191 years ago this month, following a long-standing medieval tradition, each graduating student was to touch a Bible before being handed his diploma. And in that day, it was his diploma. Unfortunately, things did not go according to the agreed upon plan at that first Trinity commencement. In the middle of the ceremony itself, Bishop Brownell, Trinity's founder and first president, suddenly realized that no one had remembered to bring a Bible. Our ingenious founder immediately substituted this small, leather-bound notebook that contained in his own hand the script of the commencement exercises in Latin and in English, and his carefully considered notes to govern the ceremony. Every year since that first commencement, the bishop's little leather-bound book has been used at each successive commencement, a common bond uniting all Trinity graduates with that first class of 10 seniors 191 years ago. As our seniors will recall from their matriculation ceremony in the chapel, a brief 4 years ago, the president entrusts this hallowed book to the care of the faculty at the beginning of each academic year. At commencement, it is returned to the president by the faculty so those who graduate may continue this unique Trinity tradition. I now call upon Dr. Kathleen Keat, Secretary of the Faculty and Borden W. Painter Jr. Professor of European History, to return the book to me so that we may proceed with these exercises. Professor Keat.
This precious book has been touched by members of each graduating class on commencement day since Trinity's first commencement. It is a symbol of knowledge, committed to the care of the faculty during this past year. On behalf of the faculty, I now present it to you, our president, that you may once again place it in the hands of those who are about to be graduated.
I accept this book held in the faculty's loyal custody, and I gratefully thank all members of the faculty for educating these men and women devotedly in the tradition of Trinity College. Thank you. The most distinguished honor an academic institution may bestow upon an individual is that of an honorary degree. I now call upon Joseph Palladino, Professor of Engineering, to read the citation for Dr. David Dershaw.
A prescription for hope. That is what you have been for so many women faced with the terrifying diagnosis of breast cancer. As the founding director of the Breast Imaging Service at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City, and a longtime professor of radiology at Weill College Medicine, Cornell University, you have made the difference between life and death for thousands of women. At Trinity, you graduated Phi Beta Kappa and with honors in biology, and you have maintained your ties as a member of the Long Walk Societies and the Elm Society. You earned your MD at Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia and completed your residency in radiology at the New York Hospital Cornell Medical Center. In recognition of your groundbreaking contributions to the field of healthcare, particularly in the battle against breast cancer, and of your devotion to Trinity College, I have the honor of presenting you D. David Dershaw for the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa.
Okay, don't leave yet. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Trinity College, I hereby confer upon Dr. David Dershaw the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa, with all of the rights, honors, privileges, powers, and responsibilities of this distinction, and award this diploma. I now call upon Gail H. Waldo, Professor of Music, to read the citation for Ms. LaTanya Langley.
On your graduation day from Trinity, when you earned a BA in political science, you were granted a mayoral proclamation from the city of Hartford, declaring May 18th as LaTanya Langley Day in recognition of your academic achievements and community activism. You earned a JD at the University of Connecticut School of Law, and 2 years ago, you joined BIC, one of the most well-known international brands in writing instruments, lighters, and shavers, as Vice President and General Counsel. You are active in your hometown community of Norwalk, and at Trinity, you have unselfishly given your time as a Board of Fellows member. In recognition of your extraordinary accomplishments in your professional endeavors in the field of law, your commitment to your Connecticut hometown, and your steadfast loyalty to Trinity College, I have the honor of presenting you, LaTanya Langley, for the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Trinity College, I hereby confer upon you, LaTanya Langley, the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, with all of the rights, honors, privileges, powers, and responsibility of this distinction, and award this diploma to you today. I now call upon Dan Lloyd, Brownell Professor of Philosophy, to read the citation for Dr. Daniel Dennett.
our best current philosopher, one of the world's most original and provocative thinkers, one of our most important living philosophers. You have been described as all of these things. You are well known to scholars and general readers through more than 400 articles and 19 authored, co-authored, or edited books so far. In your career, you have shown how conscious cognition can be a brain process, how free will can be compatible with science, how evolution can fill the world with life, and how human life can create its own Darwinian drive to create language, ideas, artifacts, and ideologies. As one of the intellectual leaders of the New Atheist movement, you have urged that religion and religious ideas be studied with the same empirical rigor as any other part of the natural world. You earned your BA in philosophy from Harvard University and your DPhil in philosophy at Oxford. Now at Tufts University, you are the Austin B. Fletcher Professor of Philosophy and founder and co-director of the Center for Cognitive Studies. In recognition of your distinguished career as a philosopher and a cognitive scientist, and of your enormous contributions to the world of thought, I have the honor of presenting you, Daniel C. Dennett, for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
All right. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Trinity College, I hereby confer upon you, Daniel C. Dennett, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all of the rights, honors, privileges, powers, and responsibilities of this distinction, and award this diploma to you today. The commencement address will be delivered by Dr. Daniel Dennett.
Hello. First, let me congratulate the class of 2017. You're on your way, and I wish you all success and happiness. Now for some advice about truth and transparency. Have you ever seen a cuttlefish? A cephalopod, like a squid or octopus, has something like a flat screen TV on its skin. Elaborate colored shapes bloom and disappear, drifting and morphing. Nobody knows yet what function these moving displays serve, though there are several plausible theories: for courtship, for confusing predators, most likely. Now imagine that you had a cuttlefish screen on your forehead, displaying all your private thoughts and feelings. You could discover everyone's thoughts, everyone's secrets, and everyone could read your mind, follow your thoughts, eavesdrop on your fantasies, and see who you had a crush on, who you thought was not very smart, what your biggest worry was. Not a good idea. It might be even worse if you could read everybody else's mind while keeping yours private. Do you really want to know every exasperated and unfair thought that your friends have had about you and would hate for you to know about? We all need to keep secrets. You can't be an effective agent in the world if you expose your mind to all comers. If you reveal all your knowledge, you also reveal all your ignorance. And if you reveal all your desires, you also reveal what you don't have and what you might be fearful of losing. To be a responsible agent, planning your projects, protecting what you care about, reflecting on your options, you need to have a private workspace with no eavesdroppers. That's true of all of us as individuals. I think that's quite obvious. But it's also true of all the multi-person organizations of civilization. Clubs, teams, associations, corporations, churches, universities, governments. So the vaunted ideal of complete transparency in government or in a university is simply a big mistake. Leaders, democratic just as much as autocratic, need to keep secrets if they are to be effective. Now, there's an obvious reason why the Bureau of Labor Statistics keeps its new employment rate statistics and other economic indicators secret until a precise moment when everyone gets to learn them at once. There's an equally obvious reason why diplomatic communications must be encrypted. And there's an obvious reason why personnel decisions, such as tenure decisions, must be made in an executive session, closed not only to the public, but to most of the other members of the organization. We hear so much about the virtues of transparency, which are considerable, but we should pause to evaluate its proper limits. Now, you don't have to worry about being betrayed by a cuttlefish forehead, thank goodness. But organizations are different because they're composed of intelligent, curious, opinionated people who can leak whenever their consciences tell them to. No wall or membrane can prevent human leaks. Only the mutual trust and respect of the participants can do that. Leaders of all kinds need to keep secrets, but they also need to communicate, and they need to be believed when they make statements and promises. They mustn't divulge too much, and they mustn't lie too much. Very often, saying nothing at all is the best policy for obvious reasons. But they must also communicate often with both their people and with the rest of the world. Now, so far as I know, nobody has ever devised a formula or recipe or algorithm for how much to communicate and when. It's a very subtle and delicate issue. And it is one that we face every day when we catch ourselves thinking a thought that we might best keep to ourselves. We all find different balances between candor and taciturnity. Sometimes we waste golden opportunities to be forthright, and sometimes we wreck our best hopes with an ill-timed revelation. Social media amplify the stakes, of course, as no doubt some of you have learned to your dismay. We want leaders we can trust, but we also want to trust them to keep secrets when it is in our interest to do so. Everybody has known this, at least tacitly, since long before Aesop gave us the fable of the boy who cried wolf. But recently, the environment has undergone a transformation. With new electronic media, not just the internet, but cell phones, transistor radios, cable television, the friction has gone out of the task of information gathering, and this new transparency has set off a free-for-all of exploration and exploitation, an arms race of ploy and counterploy. One of the casualties of this arms race is our ancient ideal of landmarks of truth and objectivity. We used to treat some sources as authorities, taking their word as gospel, a phrase that nicely reminds us that the original authorities were religious leaders or leaders sanctioned by local religions. Now, since the 17th century, science, including all the varieties of systematic rational inquiry, such as history and anthropology and even economics, has gradually supplanted religion as our highest authority. Well, has it really? Well, the Vatican asks scientists to determine the date of the Shroud of Turin, but the National Academy of Science will never ask for supporting opinions from the Baptists or Buddhists or Hindus. The idea of a newspaper of record, such as the New York Times or BBC World News, is now losing its consensus in the world, and we have become warier, thanks to occasional overreaching by the authorities, and even more by attacks on the authorities by their enemies. Are we being told the truth, or are we being played, seduced, nudged? We have had our trust betrayed so often that we tend to think that only the direct testimony of our senses is worth relying on, but that too is being eroded by science and technology. Is this photographic evidence a fact, or a bit of undetectable computer graphics fiction? It is now possible to create uncannily lifelike, high-resolution video fantasies of, say, Marilyn Monroe having a conversation with Justin Bieber. The golden age of photographic evidence in courts of law is perhaps about to end. As usual with arms races, both in human warfare and in evolution, advances in offense are cheaper than the defensive responses to counter them. This is especially true in epistemology land, the world of belief, truth, and knowledge. No matter how carefully you or your organization gathers, tests, and evaluates evidence, your reputation for objectivity and truth-telling can be shattered with a few well-aimed lies by your opponents. With your reputation shattered, your goods, however valuable in fact, can become almost unsaleable. Skepticism is cheap, confidence is expensive. This asymmetry, I think, is a major problem in the world today, and it will take patient and unrelenting effort to restore confidence in sources that deserve confidence. Donald Trump apparently has no concern for his credibility. He keeps being caught in demonstrable falsehoods, which he never acknowledges and for which he never apologizes. His supporters, some of them, seem all too willing to say they forgive him. He's just Trump being Trump, or even applaud his disruption of ambient trust, cheering as he dismantles expectations going back hundreds of years. But what will happen if a day arrives when he needs to tell us a terrible truth and we need to believe him? He may be simply disabled from informing us when we most need to be informed. He may be tempted to pile on more lies in order to get out of his tight spot, but a rich vein of wisdom running through all the lore and literature of the world is that such lying cannot be shored up indefinitely with more lying. Eventually, the truth overpowers the lies, and the result is ruin. Trump seems not to believe this ancient wisdom. He seems to be like the gambler who thinks that just by doubling his bets, he's bound to regain his losses eventually. We know that this is a fallacy. Sooner or later, he will run out of allies or time or money. But what will happen to the rest of us when his house of cards collapses? As it will. It may already be too late for him to recover the trustworthiness that his duties require. An interesting wrinkle in evolutionary theory is the account it can give of the phenomenon of costly signaling, a set of insights first devised many years ago by the beloved evolutionary theorist Ahmet Zahavi, who died a few days ago. For example, the wild high leaps of gazelles being chased by lions. You've probably seen this in nature movies. This is called stotting or pronking. And it puzzled researchers at first. What good does it do the gazelle to waste time and energy with these amazing jumps? The answer is that many animals tell would-be predators, don't bother trying to catch me. I'm too fast and strong for you. Go after my cousin who can't. And many predators are wise enough to follow this advice, but only when the advisor can demonstrate credibility by a costly display. With social media providing essentially cost-free signaling, there's plenty of grounds for skepticism. Why bother speaking truth to power when speaking falsehood to power or about power is easier and often just as effective? Here is my tentative recommendation. Suppose we inculcate a healthy appreciation for the principle of costly signaling and for its implications. Speakers must earn our credence, and doubters are best ignored until they have made their demonstrations of credibility. Don't pass on juicy tidbits just because they're juicy. Then we can perhaps restore something of a ranking of reliability, which will be a valuable asset. So valuable that those who have a high ranking will protect it fervently by telling the truth. Those who don't like the truth will, of course, redouble their efforts to destroy the credibility of the truth tellers. But if people are made alert to the ways of testing these attacks and forcing them to be expensive, we may be able to return the world to a more stable and transmissible set of sources of reliable information. Now, part of the cost of false attacks on reliable sources should be heavy and unremitting condemnation of those who get caught doing this, along with penalties imposed on them in the coin of whatever matters to them. If they value their honor, they should be dishonored. If they value prestige, they should be ridiculed and belittled. If they value privacy, they should be exposed. We must protect freedom of speech. Let people speak their minds, but then do not hesitate to criticize them for spreading falsehoods. Now, this is not easy advice to follow. During the Vietnam War, I was an ardent anti-war activist, and I confess that I never solved the problem of whether to call out anti-war leaders when they occasionally uttered manifest falsehoods, or to zip up my lip for the good of the cause. I did a little private chastising and a lot of public silence. I don't know to this day whether the cohesion and effectiveness of the anti-war movement was worth the exaggeration and outright falsehoods that we never corrected. I dare say many people today face the same dilemma. And we should all acknowledge it and recognize that people may have sincere and not dishonorable reasons for declining to acknowledge the unreliability of their leaders. It's a nasty bind to find yourself in. Now, if you think I made a mistake with my silence in the Vietnam War era, ask yourself who is making the same mistake or worse today. In any case, what can we do to improve the situation? Just as we have raised the national consciousness to the threat of air pollution, we now must raise the national consciousness to the various threats of information pollution. And we should not expect any policies to be self-sustaining. For instance, the ploy of patiently building reputation in order to exploit it later in a master stroke of deception will always be attractive to some. and the internal security of organizations will always be vulnerable to moles. Once we set aside the impossible and indeed undesirable ideal of total transparency, we can start rebuilding islands of reliable because readily testable trust. And the base camp, interestingly enough, is not the personal certainty sought by the philosopher René Descartes, who tried to argue that his own clear and distinct ideas could not themselves be in error. Our eyes and ears can fool us, as we now know better than ever. As close as we can get, probably, is the trust of companions, friends, or family. What is the first thing you would do if you were walking in a dark place with a friend and had a close encounter of one kind or another? You would turn and ask, "Did you just see what I just saw?" And if you had a second companion, the question would be even more valuable, since as every sea captain has appreciated for several hundred years, you need to take 3 chronometers on your voyage, not just 2. Since that way, when there's a disagreement, you can go with majority rule. You are wise not to always trust your own judgment about crucial issues, but you will have to choose your consultants with great care. You should cultivate the habit of asking your best friends, "What are your sources?" and expecting an answer. And you should cultivate the reciprocal habit of not being offended when your friends ask you the same question. Experience can build mutual trust, and giving up a little of your privacy and autonomy to join a small community of confidants is well advised. These islands of trust already exist by the hundreds and thousands in local communities and larger political units where public servants and private citizens have earned the respect of their neighbors and fellow citizens for their knowledge and honesty. What we need to do is enlarge those islands, patiently building from small to large, creating resilient webs of trust to replace those that have been dissolving in the onslaught of the new media that tend to make the whole world transparent. We should guard our precious credibility with zeal and should settle for knowing less than everything about everything, but knowing enough to make informed choices, the foundation of democracy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Daniel. I now ask Ann Lambright, Dean of Academic Affairs and Charles A. Dana Research Professor of Language and Cultural Studies, to come forward so that we may begin the awarding of degrees in course.
The candidates for degree of Master of Arts will please rise.
Madam President, these students have completed all requirements for the degree of Master of Arts and have been duly certified by the faculty and by the trustees of Trinity College. I present them to you for official admittance to their earned degrees.
Will the faculty of the college please rise and face the students? By the authority vested in me by the trustees of the college, and upon recommendation of the faculty standing before you, I hereby confer upon you the degree Master of Arts with all the rights, honors, privileges, powers, and responsibility thereunto appertaining, and give and award you, in witness thereof, this diploma. Congratulations. The faculty may be seated.
I now present those candidates receiving honors and graduate scholarship. Lorraine Michelson de Crescenzo, Anthony Deeney, Jordan Thomas Finning, Karen Angelo Fortunati in absentia, Brittany Marie Grimm in absentia, Patrick McDevitt, Kristen Bogart Moody, Kelsey Elizabeth Moore, Sarah E. Mowry in absentia, Megan L. O'Brien, Julia A. Rivera Roberts, Jane Gammon Smith, Sarah Macto St. Germain in absentia, Nicholas Joseph Trigilia in absentia, Stephen Henry Underwood, Ronnie Vasquez, Kelly Elizabeth Walsh in absentia, Summer McCleary Washburn in absentia. This completes the list of master's candidates graduating with honors and graduate scholarship. We now proceed to the awarding of the remaining master's degrees. Sarah Rose Brock, John Patrick Carroll, Frank Michael Castiglione III, Alexander Conaway,
Let's go, LA!
Taniqua Kayina Hughley, Brittany Keeney in absentia, Paul Kirtland, Nick LeBron, Allison Lipsher in absentia, Zachary McInnes, Malhar Mali, Lauren Marie Maranzana, Kenneth Lee McClary, Daniel Francis Melisson in absentia, Jacqueline Sarah Thomas, Jia Yu. Madam President, this completes the awarding of degrees for our master's candidates.
The candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science will please rise. Madam President, these candidates have completed all requirements for the bachelor's degree and have been duly certified by the faculty and by the trustees of Trinity College. I present them to you for official admittance to the earned degrees.
Will the faculty of the college please rise and face the students? Members of the class of 2017, your moment has come. By the authority vested in me by the trustees of Trinity College, and upon recommendation of the faculty standing before you, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science with all the rights, honors, privileges, powers, and responsibilities of this distinction and award this diploma. Congratulations. The faculty may be seated.
The candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science will please be seated. May I remind the candidates for bachelor's degrees that as they cross the platform to receive their diplomas from Dean Cresswell, they should first touch the hallowed Trinity book, which President Berger Sweeney will be holding. Remember that doing so is in no way a trifle or an unearned gift, but rather a cherished honor bestowed upon you by generations of alumni who have passed this way before you over the course of 191 years of Trinity history. The treasured book is both venerable and fragile. Simply touch it and proceed forward to the chair of the board and the dean. Madam President, I now present the valedictorian and summa cum laude graduate of the class of 2017, Phong Kim Hua. Madam President, I now present the salutatorian and summa cum laude graduate of the class of 2017, Jessica Yetta Schottner. Before we move on to the rest of the graduating class, we would like to acknowledge the 9 senior members of the women's lacrosse team. To whom we will now present diplomas so that they may leave to join their teammates to prepare for this afternoon's NCAA Regional Finals game here on campus at 3:30. Megan Hayes Collins. Catherine Dare DeLilio. Catherine Broussard Foca. Laura Elizabeth Guida. Cleo Draper Kammerer. Claire Elizabeth Line. Emma Catherine Malicki. Carlin Fitch Simpson, magna cum laude. Nicole Jean Stauffer, cum laude. We now complete the awarding of all other degrees to the class of 2017. Jordan Abrams. Clara Pauline Abramson. William Augustus Ackley. Hannah Grace Adams. Ariana Ashley Adamski, summa cum laude. Miguel Adamson. Jonathan Agosta. Fatih Al-Ansar. Luca Robert Armstrong Albacetti. Eric Samuel Alexander, cum laude. Margaret Lindsay Allisberg, summa cum laude. Brianna Jessica Allen. Jacob Mark Daniel Amon. Alexa Anderson, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Huntington Askren, cum laude. Kimberly Bach. Victoria Angela Baez. Hugo Fagan. Mamadou Mokhtar Ba. David Edward Ballinger. Guadalupe Barajas. Lindsay Moore Barber. James Joseph Barrett. Tamara Lila Bascom. Zachary Batipaglia. Samantha Madeline Beati. Henry Bell. Aurora Ballard. Jonathan Stone Bennett. Matea Sario Bennett. Emily Michelle Bernstein. Pranav Bandari. Subeksha Bidari, summa cum laude. Zachary Kaim Bitan. Tucker M. Bixby. Nick Bokel. Max Bohal. Alan Bond Jr. Jessica Lynn Bosco. Griffin M. Bossard. William S. Boyd, cum laude. Nicholas Beauchard, sorry. William S. Boyd, cum laude. Jamie Brandel, magna cum laude. Alessandra Bravi. Sakile Brooms, in absentia. Sebastian Antoine Pierre Brusta. Margaret C. Brown, magna cum laude. Seth Browner, summa cum laude. Owen Hewer Hightaker Brubaker, in absentia. Andrew William Bruno. Scott Buchanan, Jr. Alec Joseph Buffamonti. Samuel Moore Buffman. Alec Michael Bungie. Sarah Bunker, cum laude. Marjorie McLean Burke. Elizabeth Burkett. Jacqueline Buza, magna cum laude. Henry Roland Butler. Colin Cahill. Emily A. Cahill, magna cum laude. Andrew George Calabrese, summa cum laude. Brianna Camarata. Min Ying Cao, cum laude. Jacobo Carbo. Phoebe Lamb Carlisle. Kaylee Elizabeth Carpenter. Brianna Casey. Catherine Laura Sabula. Alexandra Monique Celucci. Zoe Senami. Benjamin Matthew Cyril. Alexandra Eve Chalfin. Rahul Chandrasekhar. Justin D. Sharon. Oliver Douglas Chen. Nuri Chisti. Isabel Alexandra Choi. Ji Su Chung, cum laude. Frank Siri Jr. Christopher Cillier. Sarah Clancy. Alexandra Porter Clark. Cameron Clark. Isabella Clavelum. Paul Clemente Lebrum, in absentia. Caroline Margaret Cochran. Brandon Cole. Ryan Richard Cole. Caroline Haggerty Collins. Grant Collins. Samantha Constantino, cum laude. Carolyn Keeley Conway. Michael Cook. Catherine Ann Cooper, magna cum laude. Will Patrick Corbin. Luke Edward Cordasco. Scott Morris Cordner. Thomas Costigan. Alice Regina Coughlin. Chelsea N. Crabb, magna cum laude. Anthony Bruce Kraft, Jr. Elizabeth M. Craig. Jordan Ashley Cram, magna cum laude. Cassandra Cronin, summa cum laude. Fernando Cuervo Torello. Catherine Culbertson. Edward James Culhane III, summa cum laude. Margaret Rose Curlin. Justin Curran, cum laude. Nora Curran. Catherine Grace Carey. Douglas Barrett Curtin, cum laude. Catherine Curtis. Henry Martin Cutler. Nathaniel Austin Sear. Sun Ang Dam, magna cum laude. Colton Dana. Matthew DeAndrea. Shiara Davis. Russell Walker Davis. Shelby Deck. Marilyn Agnes Diedrich. Christian Matthew DeGrasse. Olivia A. DeJoy. Stephen James DeMonico. Dominic Bruce Denigris. Nicole DeRosier, cum laude. Robert Francis Diana. Nicholas Di Benedetto. Sasha Regina Denito, cum laude. Elizabeth DiRico. Elizabeth Lane DeSandro. Olivia Buckley Dolan. Spencer Craig Donahue. Sydney Marie Doolittle. Melindy Joelle Dorson. Patrick Dorsey II. Mara Doherty. Christian Daniel Driscoll in absentia. Courtney Bosworth Driscoll. Richard Allen Drucker, Jr. James Robert Dutton. Joseph Graham Dorkin. Maria Diane. Michelle L. Dyer in absentia. Alexia Isabela Echeverria Hidalgo. Madeline Ferry Edwards. Margaret Ann Elias. Caitlin Dawn Elenoff. Andrew Carlton Empel. Christina Elizabeth Escobar. Samantha Jean Esposito. Ryan Samuel Essner. Boyan Vilichko Etropolski. Jessica Falk, magna cum laude. Fang Cheng Fan, in absentia. Sylvia Fedi, magna cum laude. Catherine Fian. Caroline Chamberlain Feeney, cum laude. Guy Feltri. Alec Michael Fernandez. Mark Daniel Ferreira. Joseph Aloysius Fields, cum laude. Christian Filpo. Jordan Elizabeth Fisk, cum laude. Sean Lawrence Fleischer. Sarah Esther Fogel. Elizabeth May Foley. Griffin S. Foley. Adam Yu Wu Fong, cum laude. Michael Fontaine. Brennan August Ford in absentia. Mary Kate Dennison Fornshell. Edward Lee McCabe Fox. William D. Fox. Catherine Rose Fraley, magna cum laude. Blair Ellen France. Christopher Fusco. Christopher Bingham Gaelic. Vincent John Gandolfo III. Daniel Alex Garcia. Kenneth David Garner. Alexander Avery Gates. Nicholas C. Gaynor. Jasmine Gentry, cum laude. Sedona Georgescu, magna cum laude. Nicholas Giaco. Christina Giancola. Olivia Grace Gibson. Annalise Eden Gilbert. Grace Gill. Tobias Giemond. Elizabeth Rose Goldberg, cum laude. Isamar Gonzalez. Carly Gray Goroff. Christopher Goyeneche. Olivia Graham. Ursula Page Grenier. Brian Daniel Grasso. Matthew Green. Isabel Gregg. Dominique S. Griffin, cum laude. Maura Griffin, cum laude. Hugh Greigel. Melissa Guarino Holtz. James Tommy Guerrero Nunez. Yao Chi Guo. Adam M. Han. Kiernan Han. Catherine Elizabeth Height, cum laude. Jared Samuel Lubman Hamburg. Emily Lewis Hamilton, magna cum laude. Adam Hammershoy. Molly Leola Hatman Weil. Haley Sloan Harkman. Caroline Nilofar Hariri. Thomas Hartshorn. Andrew Hatch. Mei Jing He, summa cum laude. Christopher Hebe, cum laude. Dylan Kelly Hebert, summa cum laude. Michelle Herbert, summa cum laude. Samantha Marie Hernandez. Sean Hayward. Lauren Hickey. Baruch Joseph Imana. Basiliel Joseph Imana, summa cum laude. Hirschman. I'm missing a page. I'm missing a page.
Okay, maybe they should tell you their names.
Okay, so Matthew Walter Hirschman.
There you go. Congratulations. Your name.
Nathaniel Charles Hitchcock. Samara Hochberger Vigsirabug. Peter Hotz. Thank you. Ethan Holdaway. Amanda A. Horan. Got it. Brian Ross Horn. Andrew Lucas Hausman. Lisa Marie Havasnian. Rachel Hughes. Thomas James Humhider. Griffin James Hunt. Andrew Ray Hurd. Albert Edward Ibargwin. Baruch Yosef Imana. Basiliel Yosef Imana, summa cum laude. Anna Maria Ivanova. Helen McGregor Eeks. Grady Lemieux Jacobson. Ned Fuller Jakubowski. Zachary Jonathan Jardim. Archimede Lynx Jerome. Lily Belinda Jewell. Megan Ann Johansson. Daniel Paul Johnson. Samuel Carl Johnson, magna cum laude. Adam W. Jones. Peter Il Young Jung, in absentia. Kelvin Matugi Carayu. Eduardos Calimeris. Patrick Brian Kane. David Yoon Jun Kang. Elizabeth Carabellas, summa cum laude. Nicole Katav. Brian S. Kelly. Martha Kelly, summa cum laude. Tom Kendrick. Taylor Joyce Kennedy. Aiden Power Cohen. Tracy Ruchibibango Keza. Alice Katabiutieva, cum laude. Nabil Khan, in absentia. Karen Kurana. Joy Heyi Kim, summa cum laude. Glory Kim, summa cum laude. Anna Ivory Kirk. Joshua David Knopf. Catherine Claire McIlvain Knowlton. Nicholas Francis Kono, cum laude. Teresa Kosh. Jordan Costalis. Zeneb Couscous. Stephen Kramer. Adam Bainey Krog. Constance Key. Caleb Ladisky, in absentia. Caroline Sarah Landy. Jane Teresa Landy. Ian Langer. Elise Lasky, magna cum laude. John Laviola. Jameson Jean Law. Jacqueline Gwynn Lawrence. Marcella Lawrence. Ling Le, summa cum laude. Andrew Gerard Leach. Christopher J. Leach. Caroline Ann Lee. Dong Young Lee. Jade Jennifer Lee. Ji Yun Lee, summa cum laude. Thomas J. Hoon Lee. Yun Ho Lee in absentia. Kendra Jean Lena. Stephen Leo. Juliana Leone. Caitlin J. Lewis. Bing Chi Lee, summa cum laude. Yu Xian Lee, summa cum laude. Caroline Grace Lindholm. Catherine Lineberger. John Michael LePerry. Willard Charles Lipe IV. Ming Fei Liu in absentia. Ming Hui Liu, summa cum laude. Xin Yi Liu, summa cum laude. Ilva Lakmani in absentia. Will Lachtefeld. Evan Long. Sophie Renee Long, cum laude. Christopher Laura. Caroline Lossier. Matthew James Lucas, cum laude. Henry Thatcher Lucy, cum laude in absentia. Amanda Lundergan. Douglas Edward Lyons. Christopher Joseph Macca. William Warren McCallum. Eliza James Mashig. William Forsyth Mackey. Margaret Foy McClellan. Juliana Maisano. Kevin Mackey. Vijay Gul Mansukani. Boris Margayun in absentia. Paige Nicole Marut, magna cum laude. Jason Samuel Mazurovsky. Rutendo Brandon Matingo. Jeffrey Maxwell, summa cum laude in absentia. Kirsten Victoria Mayer. Luke Maynard. Andrew Pradyak McCahill. Reed Overman McCool. Leah Elizabeth McCormick. Brendan William McDermott. Robert Joseph McElligott, cum laude. Joseph Dennis McGlinchey III. Kaylin McGowan, summa cum laude. Leah Reese Hannah McIntosh. Nicholas Francis McIntyre. Thomas Francis McNamara, cum laude. Kathleen Mearsman. Jacqueline Mercadante. Tommaso Marigali. Hadley Martin Merrill. Monica Charles Minha. Lauren Ashley Michalik. Drew Nicholas. Kara Midledge. Samuel Glazer Milbury. Emily Post Miller, cum laude. Ryan Andrew Miller. Chaja San Min. Henry Davis Minot V. Kendall Marie Mitchell. Tucker Bittner Morgan. Molly Arena Moriarty. Matthew J. Mortimer. Kaylee Elizabeth Moynihan. Christopher James Mulhern. Michael George Munzer. Colleen Murdoch, magna cum laude. Oliver Murphy. Ryan Michael Murphy. Yasmin Muttasim. Madeline Kendall Muchler. Charles Darian Myers. Nicholas Nagel. Shreya Nagpal, summa cum laude. Tom Naragon, cum laude. Langdon Neal. Laura Michelle Nee, cum laude. Shamika K. Nelson. Christopher Allen Newton. Hugh Nua, magna cum laude. Hung Tuan Nguyen, in absentia. Vu Nguyen Zi, in absentia. Andrea Lynn Nicholson. Carolyn Nigro. Sheila Njau. Campbell Covington Shock, North, cum laude. Maga Yawusa Som Tochuku, Nosa Miifan. Kylie Nygren. Cameron Leverine O'Connell. Anna Adoy. Elise Lorraine Ogden. Edward Ogundeko. James O'Leary. Francesca Oliveira. Mia Casey Olson. Daniel O'Neill. Sean Thomas Orlando. Griffin O'Rourke. Mason Tyler Osgood. John Francis Ostrowski. Hugh Owen, in absentia. Jordan Pace, magna cum laude. Joseph Payne. John Paul Harold Palmer. Emma Grace Palmieri. Adya Pandey. Haley Marie Papas. Stefan Papas. John Paving. Elena Marie Claire Pedro, summa cum laude. Tristan Thomas Pierce, cum laude. Thomas Pelletier, cum laude. Gabriel Ray Pepe. Alexis Perez. Juliana Alicia Perez. Catarina Pesa. Miles Peskin. Austin Leah Peterson, magna cum laude. Denicia Peterson. Burton Finney, in absentia. Carmen Piantadosi. Henry James Periandri. Russell Nathaniel Pearson. Justin Kwang Piselli. Theodore Frederick Plass. Deanne Algren Pless. Catherine Jean Poirier. Sarah M. Poirier, in absentia. Kishwar Pakarel. Jordan May Pullitz. Elliot Pollock, summa cum laude. Celeste Ann Puppets, cum laude. Emily E. L. Popov. Brian Post. Catherine Gorsuch Powers, summa cum laude. Kevin Anastas Primto. Callie Elizabeth Prince, cum laude. Krista Cleo Prophet. Connor Bryce Provolo. Chance Pryor. Lorig Yeva Sarman Perutian. Dominic Quaid. Harrison William Quarles. Casey Ann Quinn. Haley Elizabeth Rafferty. Andrew Avery Ragosta. Chinmay Rairiker, summa cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Tomko Reka. Adam Redner. Anabel Regalado, cum laude. Matthew John Reichelt, summa cum laude. Jordan Reed. Rebecca Lauren Reingold. Ryan Steele Reuter. Louisa Revson, cum laude. Christian Reynolds. Holden Benjamin Rhodes, cum laude. Thomas Briggs Rice, magna cum laude. Jagger Wheatley Riefler. Alan Alexis Rios. Riley Ristine. Christopher Nicholas Rizos. John Patrick Roberts. Jake A. Robertson, magna cum laude. Patrick R. Robinson. Kathy Rodogianis, summa cum laude. Julissa Lee Rodriguez. Samantha Renee Roncalli. Max Rooney. Shauna Alexandra Rosenthal, summa cum laude. Bryce Goodman Rothenberg. Mary Catherine Rowley. Pedro Rojas. Michael Rufo. Thomas Ryan in absentia. John Paul Ryan in absentia. Maxim Sabet Darkre. Daniela Salazar Herrera, magna cum laude. Emma Claire Sbarge, summa cum laude. James Scalfani. Evan Schollard, cum laude. Serena Jacqueline Seaman. Eleanor Hale Sednoe. Michael Self, cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Sharba. Ames Tenbrook Sheldon. Thomas Joseph Sherman. Esther Shitu. Devin Shorey. Claire Quincy Siciliano. Josh Silverstein. William Joseph Sleeper. Anders Michael Slickland. Austin Reeves Smith, cum laude. Elizabeth Snyder. Paroma Sony, magna cum laude. Natalie Sukastan. Taylor Marie Sorensen. Dylan Stewart Spagnuolo, summa cum laude. Christopher Warren Spear. John Irwin Stanton. Michael Steffman. Marissa? Sorry? Steppanen. Okay. So Michael J. Steffman, Marissa Lee Stein in absentia. Elizabeth Stepanek. Alexander Nicholas Stosko. Jessica Ann Stoll, magna cum laude. Aman Wesley Stupert. Devin Suggs. Emily Sullivan. Momisa Syed. Steve Seitz. Nadine Rose Tagian. Sarah Allen Talcott, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Grace Taskey. Angel Manuel Tejada. Robert Valeri Tella. Charles Tivibao. Sanjay Thapa. Adam Thibodeau. Nathaniel D. Thiemann in absentia. Haley Ray Thompson, magna cum laude. Molly Jane Callahan Tom, summa cum laude. Malibonwe Twala, magna cum laude. Allison Jane Tierney. Megan Philomena Tai, cum laude. Catharia Toyai, magna cum laude. Amber S. Townsend. Alex Traeger. Jennifer Tran, cum laude. Lynn Tran, magna cum laude. Cynthia Trenholm, summa cum laude. James Egan Cortland Turritz. Christopher Turnbull. Anna Elizabeth Tyler. Gavin Ugoni. Elizabeth Valenzuela, summa cum laude. Kelly Marie Vaughn. Luis Fernando Villafuerte. Sophie Claire Witztum Ekstedt. Jessica Beth Voigt. Charles W. Von Wiesing. Hillary Ann Vossler. Jacqueline Mary Wagner. Dylan Joseph Walker. John Clark Wallace, magna cum laude. Yu Wei Wang, cum laude. Brenna McKay Burke Weber. Javier Weddington. Ian L. Weist. Asia Elisa Angola Wells. Robert Francis Wetzel. Randy Whittam. Jasmine Elizabeth Williams, cum laude. Aidan Wilner. Samuel Warren Wilsey, cum laude. Philip Louis Fraser Windsor, cum laude. S. Nicholas Wojak. Molly Rebecca Wolf. Eleanor Worsley, magna cum laude. Nicholas Donham Ray. Taylor Marie Rubel. Yishan Wu. Kin Yajima. Kunwei Yang. Alexandra Vivian Young. Nicholas Roy Safiro. Rachel Ann Sanko. Rocio Zavala.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year?
What a year it has been for you, your families, and our entire college community, for the country, and for our world. We measure it in events that have changed the world. The Brexit vote, the Paris Global Climate Agreement, unexpected election outcomes in the U.S. and France, Increasing instability or crises in Nigeria, North Korea, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Worldwide solidarity in women in science marches. We measure it in events that have mattered on campus. Convocation and the matriculation of the visionary class of 2020, the opening of the Center for Caribbean Studies, the devastating porch collapse, and in its aftermath, the coming together of our community. National and international awards and honors bestowed upon students and faculty. Retirements of beloved faculty and staff, and the welcoming of new scholars, teachers, and mentors. The loss of our dear Calvin Johnson, class of 2016. Annual events such as the Hip Hop Festival, Samba Fest, and yes, Spring Weekend. The Sweet 16 national title for men's squash, NCAA championships for men and women's squash, men's ice hockey, and football. And today, this monumentous occasion, the completion of your journey as Trinity students and the start of your lives as Trinity alumni. It isn't just about those events and moments shared by many. How do you measure your own year? How many cups of coffee at Peter B's or the Underground? How many laughs with your best friend? How many trivia nights at Vernon Social? How many challenges and triumphs in the classroom, on the playing field? How many hours studying in the library? How many strolls along the beautiful long walk and afternoons spent on the quad? How many minutes did you spend learning? How many did you spend helping? How many minutes did you spend growing? How did you measure your year? As the song reminds us, measure your year in love. And don't worry, I'm not going to sing again. Measure it in the love you developed for the academic discipline you studied, for the art you created, for the research you advanced. Measure it in the love of friends whose bonds grew stronger with each passing day, the strong sisterhoods and brotherhoods that you created and will continue. Measure it in the love of Trinity and of Hartford that deepens the more time you spend helping to make these communities better. I will measure my year in many ways, including the difference that you and your class have made here. I will share with you two of the countless stories of difference. The ways that your presence, your energy, your creativity, and your resolve have mattered. I want to share with you a tale of two Mollys. Who have left a lasting impression on our dear Trinity. One is about Molly Toms. As many of you know, Molly was the driving force behind the design team for the Bantam Network, our entering first year program. She was an active member of the Campaign for Community and the president of the Charleston House. Molly, your energy, your commitment, and your passion for our community, you have made a difference here. The other is Molly Bongwe Thwala. This Molly is also a leader. He initiated the African choir. He was very involved in the mill. He truly created a space on campus for musicians and artists, and importantly, he is kind. Someone said to me, remember that button on campus after the U.S. presidential election that said, be kind? It could have just said, be Molly. Molly, Your warmth, your leadership by example, you have made a difference here. Now, before I finish, you know that I have to tell you about the books that I've read this semester. Not as many as usual, because it's been a really busy semester. But I did read 2 novels about Barcelona, because in July I'll travel to Barcelona to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the Trinity program there. I read Cathedral of the Sea, set in the 14th century during the height of the Inquisition, and Prisoner of Heaven, the sequel to Shadow of the Wind, taking me to the city in the mid-20th century during the Spanish Civil War and its aftermath. I chose those 2 books to understand something about Barcelona's history and its wounds. I've learned much about Trinity's history also. Its wounds, yes, but its joys. And I have grown much in our 3 years together. I arrived just as you were starting your sophomore year, and I am grateful for the warm welcome you gave me. I've celebrated with you your victories and accomplishments, and agonized along with you through individual struggles and difficult moments on our campus. We have gotten to know each other. We have evolved as individuals and as a community. And I will miss you deeply. As you begin the next chapter of your very bright future, do so with the confidence that Trinity has prepared you well for whatever comes and whatever difference you seek to make. All of us who have chosen to make this our life's work, and most importantly, to do this work at Trinity, are here because we want you to change the world. We want you to change us and to move this place forward. You were invited here 4 years ago to do just that. Now I hope that you can see how much good you've done for Trinity and how much better we are for you having been here. Let that knowledge propel you no matter what paths you forge. This education you've received isn't just for you after all, it's for everyone. College is a public good, an opportunity provided to individuals so that all of society can advance. But more often, it's considered a private good, a benefit granted to people who purchase it, a prize coveted for its ability to move one ahead of others. That's not what we believe. It never has been. Your education is not only good for you, it is good for society. My charge to you in turn is not only to use your good Trinity education, but to go out and show the world what it means to do and to be Trinity good. Thank you. I now ask that all of you stand for the alma mater sung by the Trinity Pipes, after which Associate College Chaplain John Selders will deliver the benediction. Following the benediction, the trustees and faculty will recess from these proceedings. We hope that all of you will join us on the soccer field immediately following the recessional under the large white tent for a reception honoring our distinguished guest and the class of 2017.
the halls of our old Trinity. College days are from care and sorrow free, and oft will we seek in memory, those days that are past, far to joy us to last, 'neath the elms of our old Trinity. Then we'll sing to our old Trinity, to our dear old alma mater Trinity. We're together today and tomorrow away, far away from our old Trinity.
As your classes and gradings are now complete, may you strive toward excellence in all you do. As the speeches conclude, may your voices rise up to pronounce justice and peace in the world. As the fanfare cease, may you sing of joy even in low-lit and lonely places. As the applause quiets, may you continue to celebrate and lift up those around you. As you graduate today, may your achievements grow and cause growth in your own communities. As we all celebrate you, our graduates, and your entry into the larger world and community, we trust the contributions you will offer will make our world a better place. May we move into our tomorrow after we celebrate today. And may we all know and glow with great joy for the overwhelming blessings of the one who created us all. Can we all say amen?